There is a silence that speaks volumes, a presence that feels like an absence. This isn't the loud loneliness of an empty room. It's the quiet loneliness of a crowded one. It's the feeling that even if you spoke your deepest truth, it might not find a home in anyone listening. It's realizing your inner world has become a fortress, not by design, but from a series of small retreats. People often mistake this for being cold or distant, but the reality is often the exact opposite. These individuals feel everything too intensely. They notice the slight pause before a response, the flicker of distraction in a glance, the unspoken no in a lukewarm yes. And so, they learn to step back, not from a dislike of people, but from an overwhelming sense of exposure. The deepest solitude is felt in a crowd. Psychologically, this sustained isolation rewires the brain. The ancient parts of your mind, built for tribe and community, start to register solitude as a genuine threat. It activates the same neural pathways as physical injury. This is why prolonged loneliness carries a tangible physical weight. Your stress levels remain elevated, your sleep becomes fractured, your mind becomes a watchtower scanning for social threats that may not even be there. Yet, in our hyper-connected world, you can be digitally surrounded and profoundly unseen. Likes are not the same as being looked in the eye. Followers are not friends. There's a chasm between being acknowledged and being authentically understood. And no one knows this divide better than the person who appears to have no one. This path is rarely chosen. It's paved slowly with accumulated disappointments. You offer a vulnerable piece of yourself, and it's met with indifference. You trust someone with a secret, and it becomes gossip. You try to connect, and you feel more misunderstood than before. So your nervous system learns a protective lesson. It is safer to not reach out. You stop initiating. You begin to claim you enjoy your own company, and for a while you might. Solitude offers control. But over time, chosen solitude can curdle into enforced isolation. Because human beings are, at their core, wired for resonance. Even the most self-sufficient person has a primal need to be witnessed. And when that need goes unmet for years, something profound shifts internally. Your internal monologue becomes your only conversation. You replay old social injuries, analyzing every detail, wondering what part of you was to blame. This is what psychologists call learned social helplessness. You've tried and stumbled enough times that your brain simply stops signaling you to try again. It associates social risk with inevitable pain. So even when a genuinely kind person appears, your defenses are already at the gate. You might tell yourself you're content alone, but a quieter part of you still hopes for that one person who understands without a manual. Loneliness has a cruel way of making you feel undeserving of connection. It whispers that you are too complex, too boring, too much work. You reject yourself before the world can. And so, you isolate not from arrogance, but from a desperate form of self-preservation. But here's what's rarely seen from the outside. This loneliness doesn't always wear a sad face. Many who walk this path function perfectly well. They achieve, they create, they post content that suggests a full life. But they inhabit a dual reality. The curated exterior and the private interior world that feels hollow, like watching their own life through a pane of glass. It's easy to label them as odd or difficult. But if you truly listen, their story is often one of quiet devotion given to those who offered little in return. They began to link vulnerability with peril, intimacy with eventual loss, so they built a life without it. The cost of this adaptation, however, is immense. Without the mirror of friendship, your perspective can narrow. Your emotions echo in a chamber with no other voices to provide reflection or gentle challenge. Studies suggest long-term isolation can diminish empathy, not because the heart has hardened, but because the muscle of emotional exchange has atrophied from lack of use. It's a defensive numbness, the mind's last resort to shield itself from the ache of unmet connection. Paradoxically, those with the fewest friends often possess the deepest capacity for them. They think about bonding with immense intensity. They find significance in the smallest, most genuine interactions. A held door, a sincere thank you. When something is scarce, you learn to cherish its faintest glimmer. This state also alters behavior. Research indicates that chronically lonely individuals can become hyper-attuned to social signals. They scrutinize messages for hidden meanings. They perceive rejection in neutral actions. They are reading a script that nobody else has. This hypervigilance creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your caution creates distance. Others sense that distance and pull away, confirming your deepest fears. It's a psychological trap, a loop designed for self-protection that ends in self-sabotage. Loneliness even warps your perception of time. Without shared milestones and rituals, days can merge into a monotonous stream. Weekends lose their meaning. Holidays are just ordinary days. Psychologists confirm that isolation literally stretches our sense of time. Minutes feel longer, hours feel heavier, because you are trapped in the static hum of your own thoughts, not flowing with the dynamic current of shared experience. Yet within this quiet, there is potential for profound transformation. Conscious solitude can be a crucible for self-discovery. Some of history's most insightful minds were shaped by periods of deep aloneness. The critical difference lies in choice. Solitude that is chosen can be empowering. Solitude that is forced upon you can be corrosive. One helps you reconnect with your essence. The other convinces you that your essence is not worthy of connection. Many who say, "I'm not a people person," are guarding a hidden truth. They miss the effortless laugh, the conversation that requires no filter, the shared silence that feels comforting, not empty. We must remember that friendship is a mirror. It shows us parts of ourselves we cannot see alone. Without it, growth becomes harder to measure. We don't fully become ourselves in a vacuum. We become ourselves through reflection. And when that reflection is absent, you can start to feel like a ghost in your own life. That is the true pain of having no friends, not merely the absence of company, but the agony of feeling utterly unseen. Yet within that pain often lies a profound empathy. Having known what it is to be invisible, they are often the first to see others. They are the ones who notice the person left on the sidelines, who send a quiet check-in message. They understand. And perhaps that is the greatest paradox. Those who have no friends are often the most capable of being a true one, if someone would only be brave enough to look past the quiet. Healing is possible. The mind can relearn connection. It's not about a sudden personality overhaul. It's about small, brave steps, replying to a message without over-editing, accepting an invitation even when anxiety screams no, allowing life to touch you again, in tiny, manageable doses. True friendship isn't about performance. It's about presence. It's the courage to show up as you are, not as you think you should be. The people who are truly for you won't require a perfect version of you. They will meet you in your quietness and see it not as a void, but as depth. Sometimes, the journey doesn't start with finding others. It starts with mourning the versions of you that accepted less than you deserved. The part that pleaded for attention. The part that mistook crumbs for a feast. The part that went silent to avoid being left. When you heal those old wounds, you begin to attract from a place of wholeness, not hunger. And that changes the entire game. There is a unique freedom in ceasing the chase for validation and starting the journey of self-understanding. You realize that being alone doesn't mean you are flawed. It means you are waiting for alignment, for connections that feel like coming home, not like a performance. Loneliness, when listened to, can be a powerful teacher. It reveals the quality of connection your soul truly yearns for. People who have spent significant time alone often develop a remarkable self-awareness. They have reflected, questioned, and grown in the quiet. And that very depth, though born from solitude, becomes the magnet that draws the right people later. The kind who see not just who you are, but who you have become through all you've endured alone. This healing takes patience. It begins with gentle self-acceptance. Learn to speak to yourself with the kindness of a good friend. When your mind insists, "No one cares," whisper back, "I am learning to care for myself." When fear murmurs, "You will always be on your own," answer, "My story is still being written." Your brain believes what you tell it. Neural pathways reshape through consistent, gentle repetition. Loneliness is not a life sentence. It is a season. A psychological winter that, in time, will give way to spring if you allow the thaw to begin. Not having friends does not make you less whole. It just means your story is waiting for its right audience. And quiet stories can be incredibly powerful. They are often filled with art, introspection, and profound meaning. Many of the world's great creators and thinkers walked a long road alone before finding their tribe. And when they did, the connection was richer and more meaningful because they had first built a solid relationship with themselves. So if you find yourself in this quiet space now, please hear this. You are not broken. You are not unworthy. You are in the process of your own becoming. The world is not ignoring you. It is waiting for you to step into the person you are meant to be. There will come a day when you sit with someone, and they will say, "It feels like I've always known you." In that moment, the years of wondering what was wrong will finally make sense. You'll understand that the solitude was not a punishment. It was a preparation. Every quiet evening, every unmade call, every silent yearning was carving you into a person capable of holding real, profound connection when it finally arrived. You will stop seeking the crowd and start valuing the genuine. You will stop chasing applause and start recognizing resonance. And you will finally grasp that friendship isn't a numbers game. It's a recognition. It's that moment when two souls look at each other and think, "You too? I thought I was the only one." That is the foundation of the truest friendship. It's not built on constant chatter, but on quiet understanding, on mutual respect, on two people who have both known the landscape of loneliness and have decided, together, that they don't have to inhabit it anymore. Because real connection isn't about finding perfect people. It's about finding real ones, the ones who can hold your silence, love your quirks, and see the beauty in your intricate soul. Those are the people worth the wait, and when they appear, you will finally know what it means to be seen. Not the mask you created to survive, but the authentic self you were always destined to be. Until that day, be gentle with your own heart. Speak to yourself with kindness. And remember, even if you walk this path alone right now, you are entirely worthy of being known. You are entirely worthy of friendship. You are still a vital thread in the vast, invisible tapestry of humanity, connected always, even in your most silent moments. And perhaps one day, you will cross paths with another who also once had no friends. You'll recognize it in their gaze, that same depth, that same understanding. You'll offer a slight smile, and they will return it. And just like that, two solitary worlds will build a bridge to each other. Because loneliness is never the final chapter of your story. It is simply the blank page where your next one begins. If this perspective resonated with you, please support our community by liking this video and subscribing to Wines of Thought for more explorations of the human experience.